Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We're dedicated to delivering quality auto parts, expert customer service, fast and free shipping, all backed by our 100% satisfaction guarantee. So visit us at 1AAuto.com, your trusted source for quality auto parts.
In this video, we're going to be working with our 2001 Ford Ranger 4.0 liter four-wheel drive. We're going to show you how to remove and replace your front shock absorber. We're working on the passenger side, but this process will be exactly the same on the driver's side. If you like this video, please click subscribe. We have a ton more information on this truck as well as many other makes and models. And if you need these parts for your vehicle, you can follow the link down in the description over to 1AAuto.com. Here are the items you'll need for this repair. Using a taped flat blade screwdriver, locate the relief cuts in the hubcap. Stick the screwdriver in and pry out to release it from the wheel. This particular truck has a wheel lock on it, so we'll need the wheel lock key in order to remove it. Otherwise, the rest of the nuts come off with a 19mm socket and breaker bar. Simply crack them loose for now. Then raise and support your vehicle and remove the lug nuts the rest of the way. Remove the wheel from the vehicle. With the wheel and tire removed, you can fold up the skirt on the inside of the inner wheel well. See the 14mm nut, as well as down here on the cap of the shock is a 16. Now that can be pretty tight, so you may need to use a hammer to tap the wrench on to those flats. Just tap the wrench into place. You'll need to pair up a 14 and a slightly larger wrench for some extra leverage. Put the box end over the stud and break the nut loose. Once the nut has been broken loose, if you have a ratcheting wrench, now is a great time to utilize that to finish removing the nut. Otherwise, you can remove it manually with a regular wrench. Once you've removed the nut from the top of the shock, you'll also need to remove the washer and the top bushing. Remove your wrench, and this should be even easier if you're replacing a shock that's already failed. But you pull down and compress the shock. Once the stud comes out of the opening, go ahead and place it off to the side. Place a 10mm wrench over the bolt on the top side of the lower control arm and loosen up the 13mm nut on the bottom. Remove the bolt from the top and repeat this process with the opposite bolt. Move the top of the shock, release the bottom, slide the shock out of the upper control arm. You may have to compress it a little to help get it out, or you may just want to drop it out of the bottom, whichever is easiest. Here we have our old shock that we removed from our vehicle and our new part from 1AAuto.com. As you can see, these parts have the same height, diameter, the same bar pin at the bottom where it'll bolt onto our lower control arm with a nice new bushing, as well as the same cap on the top of the shock to hold while we tighten up the stud here. Comes with a nice new set of top bushings and washers, one for below the bracket and one for above, as well as a new nut and a new set of nuts and bolts for the bottom. What your shock absorber does is control the up and down travel of your vehicle Bad shocks will make the ride feel harsh or bouncy because it's not controlling the rate at which the suspension travels, as well as the number of times the suspension can travel up and down. So if your vehicle has a poor ride quality, is harsh or bouncing when hitting bumps, a new set of shocks from 1A Auto will go in direct fit, just like your original equipment, get your vehicle riding nice and smooth, and fix you upright. Install your washer and bushing onto the stud of the shock, set it up into the control arm, and through the opening in the shock bracket. Place the bottom over its holes, set the top bushing and washer over the stud, and tighten up the nut at the top a few threads by hand. Install the 10mm bolt for the base of the shock. Start the 13mm nut on the bottom. Tighten up the nut and bolt with a 10mm wrench on the bolt head and a 13mm socket, ratchet, and extension at the bottom. Once you've tightened one bolt down, go ahead and do the other. Hold the top nut of the shock in place with your 16. Tighten down the top with a 14mm. Reinstall the wheel and tire. And start your lug nuts by hand. Nuts to 100 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Reinstall your center cap, and you're good to go.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.